Hello, everybody. How are you? Leslie Plazz here, the author of The Audacious Adventures of Zazoo Plazz, part-time superhero, full-time mom. Happy to see everyone here today. Got my, let's see if I got my Yoda shirt on. It says, May the gifts be with you. One of my favorite shirts to wear this time of year. So, yeah, getting out all the Christmas stuff after Thanksgiving here. Everyone was home. I hope you had a nice Thanksgiving. We're just finishing up the leftovers. There's a little bit of sweet potato casserole. I made this new thing this year with, it's like a streusel topping with pecans and brown sugar. Oh, so good. I did not make my turnip puff that I talk about in the book, in the chapter where I run the Manchester Road Race. I decided to break with tradition, and I did make my Mimet's pork stuffing because it was just the four of us. The parents did not come over because they recommended not to. So we spoke on the phone and we brought some leftovers over. But I was planning on today, having a little Zoom party. I put out an ad on the Zazoo Plazz page. I spent the week figuring out how to plan a Zoom meeting. And I had a link all ready to go. I built a playlist of holiday tunes. And I was waiting for people to respond to my little Facebook event post. And I got a couple of loves, a little bit of love, but no responses. And it could be because it was last minute. I realize a lot of people are traveling this weekend or otherwise occupied putting up their trees, cleaning out their leftovers, getting their Christmas list going. But the intent was that it was my gift to my followers on my Zazoo page, and our gift to each other. The idea was that, totally free, to have people bring a hot cup of something to drink and get together virtually, because we can't really get together in person, and give the gift of our stories, our holiday stories. The theme was going to be holiday surprises, things on holidays that didn't go the way you expected. So now I have another story of something that did not go the way I expected, which is that I planned a Zoom event and nobody showed up. So I'm turning that into today's Zazoo story. See what I did there? So, it reminded me of another time when I was with the CRAPE, the Connecticut Regulation of Energy and Protection of the Environment, the State Environmental Protection Agency. And it was 2015. It was the Halloween weekend of my 50th birthday. And I had spent the whole week or two preparing this electric car charger event in Wallingford. The commissioner was going to go and speak, and I invited all the local dignitaries, the mayor, the town manager, all the people from the town utilities department were going to be there. I made a special map with stuff and points for the commissioner to make. I did his speech. The lady from the cable news network showed up, from the local cable, and I drove down with my friend Mindy, who worked with us, and I was so excited because it was the first event that I had ever planned on my own as a intern, seasonal. And it was a beautiful fall day, and we drove down, and we get out of the car, and we're around the side of a Stop and Shop supermarket. And there was a little sign up front, but you couldn't really see it. And it was sort of like around the back, you know, like around the side where the employees park. They had the electric cars set up and the stations and everything. And Mindy said, gee, I thought they were going to have a bigger sign here so people would know it was here. And I thought, oh, people show up, this and that. So we're waiting and waiting, and the commissioner shows up, and he's looking at his watch, and he's looking at me, and, you know, looking at everybody, and he said, well, let's just start. So there were maybe 5 of us standing there. And he's giving his big presentation, and it was like a 20-piece band, you know, playing in a little hut. It was like, and you know, I had put it on social media. I had done everything I thought that I should do, but people didn't show up, and the people who were there were not really the people who needed to know the benefits of hybrid cars and charging your cars and, you know, protecting the environment and this and that. The people who really needed to hear about it weren't there. They didn't know, or maybe they had shopping to do, or they had other plans for the, you know, Halloween, whatever. Maybe it was just the timing of it. In any case, I went home. I was disappointed. And I said, geez, you know, I did all that work for nothing. And but the lady got it on cable TV. She filmed it, and for other people to, you know, watch later. And Commissioner, you know, he said, you did a good job, you know. And nothing else I learned from that event. How to, it's an exchange of energy, right? The purpose of the event was to show people how best to use their energy. Right? Because cars use energy, fuel, charge, so do people. How best to use our energy, right? How to get that message out there. How do you get an energy boost when you need it? It's over there, it's at the side of the building, it's at Zazoo Plazz. Read the book. How to tell people that this is going to make you feel charged up for the long haul. How best to spread the word that this is a great way to keep your energy high during these times, right? So I found another parallel, right? So every year we're going to get a real tree. It's nice to go out. We have a tree farm, Zen's Tree Farm here in town. And we make a family thing. Jack always goes out with his axe, picks a tree and chops it down and puts it on, you know. He's been picking out trees since he was like 11, you know. And he was taller than the little tree. He found a little Charlie Brown tree that he wanted. But so anyway, then what comes out? Then what happens? Bring the tree home, and inevitably the string of tangled lights comes out, right? It's a big ball of lights that somebody threw into the trunk from last year. We have to figure out how to untangle all the lights and string them up so everyone can see and enjoy them. So I found this while I was going through my things. I found this little picture. This is Mom and Dad. There's our living room when I was growing up. See? There's the tree right there. And we had a little Scandinavian wooden tree that had little white candles in it. But see, they're standing next to the tree, and it's got those old-fashioned colored lights that everybody used to have back in the 70s. See, and the poofy tinsel, and that's Christmas Day. It's got to be. They just look so happy. Look, everything is perfect. There's probably classical music playing in the background, and the dinner's cooking, and they're wearing their matching plaid, Christmas plaid. So that's one of my favorite memories. And always be an angel up at the top of the tree. I'm sure I cut it off, but usually there was a little angel up at the top watching everybody. brightly shining. But the thing is, you look at that picture, and what you didn't see is 4 weeks prior to that, my dad would have the darn lights spread across the living room. He'd be muttering under his breath because inevitably there'd be one or two that would break. They were like these big bulbs. Now one or two would crack. For crying out loud, he's be muttering under his breath. He didn't really swear, but you know, if he started crying out loud, things were getting pretty heated. And so he'd unscrew it, you know, he'd untangle them, take him hours. He'd untangle them. He was not the most patient person by any means. Unscrew the ones that were broken. He'd always have a couple of spare ones. He'd put those up there. And then I would help him, you know, put them on the tree. And what we would do, mostly, is have the lights show in the front of the tree, right? And not so much in the back. You'd kind of just snake them around the front of the tree, you know, which required a lot of precision and patience. Finally, it would be all up, and then you could put the tinsel and the decorations, and that was my favorite part. That's where because I would have to balance everything and put it just right, you know. And sometimes you put one up there, and you know, it doesn't quite go there, you know. I'd be the ornament whisperer. Oh, it's telling me it wants to be over here. Okay, I'll put it over there. And I still do that. But the moral of the story, you know, I married an electrical engineer. So we used to have a tree that you just pop up and all the lights are all ready to go. But that didn't work and it wore out, so we threw it out. So now, you know, he's got this system where he puts them all out and he has intense concentration. And maybe that's why I married him, because he's more patient with things like lights, computers. He's a good guy to have around. But the thing is, what do you do to keep your lights shining brightly, right? There's a couple that need maybe polishing, maybe replacing, tweak them a little bit. And then when you get them all shining brightly, what do? You got to put it out where people can see it, right? You know, and the thing is, sometimes you put them out and you'll notice that there's one kind of burnt out, you know. Maybe nobody else noticed it, but you. If you're the one who put them up there, or you happen to come at the tree at a certain angle, you'd say, you know, oh, that light is out. And nobody else would notice it. You know, and this is what happens over the course of Advent, 4 weeks before Christmas. We'd have ornaments. When the kids were little, you know, we'd put all the expensive ones, the breakable ones up at the top. So the cats or the dog or the little kids couldn't get them and put them in their mouths, you know. And so, and then when they grow up, then they're taller than you. And then that's when you get them to put the ornaments at the very top, because you can't reach them. You can only do the ones at the bottom now. Oh well. See, this is the kind of perspective you get from Zazoo Plazz that you cannot get anywhere else. Remember that. So it's kind of like, you know, your life is the Christmas tree. How do we put our lights so that the most people can see them and not walk by and miss what would be really a pretty sight? A tree full of twinkling lights, and some that are just aimed at you. What do you see when you look at your tree? You just see a big tangle of burnt out lights? Or do you see a beautiful, fully lit tree shoved in a corner with a box over it? May the gifts be with you. Have a great week. Let your light shine brightly. Much love and laughter. Zazoo Plazz. Till next week. Many blessings. Bye-bye.